25, play whip, so the tints don't matter. I get every kind of colour, but my brown girl's better. Yeah, I cut off all the snakes, now I'm climbing up the ladder. I'ma let them take the plate, cause I want the whole plan. My heart's going duck, duck when you're looking dust, dust. Brown skin beauty and your bangles going jump, jump, shut to my kindness, for my weakness, your biggest mistake. Your ex-girls, ex-wives in my DMs for days now. Yeah, this a hard kata din sari raat. She tryna be my wife, but I ain't breaking no more hearts. Really kindly अंदर का animal होया फरार तू जवान ना मैं करा gang gang. When the bullets start flying, all you hear is bang bang.
Arma, welcome to Off the Record. I am actually so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to finally be here. I'm in Scotland for the first time as well, and you know, I haven't really had a chance to talk about a lot of things off the record yet. So
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Conversation.
Yeah, that's good. We're excited. How's life feeling for you right now?
Life in general?
Life in general, like your musical journey, your career, your personal life. How's life?
I'd say by the grace of God, I'm in a very good place right now. I'm happy with a lot of things. I feel like things aren't exactly where I want them to be yet, but they probably are where they need to be.
So that's a journey, right? That's a journey that you're working towards.
Yeah, things aren't always going to be where you want them, but I do believe that they always are where they need to be. So for me, in that sense, I feel like I can't complain. I'm very blessed. I'm here. I'm being invited to podcasts, for example. People are listening to my music. You know, I've got real people around me, so everything's very blessed right now.
And do you feel like at this point, do you feel like your music has like sort of taken a turn and it's sort of changing the scope of your career at the moment?
Definitely. I think if you noticed my music since the start of my career, like 5-6 years ago, I think there's been a lot of growth, if I do say so myself, in my sound, my lyrics, my personality as well, my presentation. I think there's been a lot of growth. So I think it's all heading in the right direction. So
I just want to talk about your journey before the music. So I know you used to work at Superdry. And what does that version of you feel like when you look back at it now?
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually know. So I started my career as a videographer. So in order to actually tell you like how I got into the music thing, I think it's better to understand where Arma as a videographer started his career. And I think that's a story that hasn't really been told till now. And I think I would probably go back to like, without spending too much time talking about something that's swaying into a different sort of conversation, I think I would start by talking about like 2015, 2016 times where I was trying to figure out after school where I want to go, like, what do I want to do? And I wasn't really an academic kid, to be honest with you. I wasn't doing well in school. I didn't think I was going to really follow any sort of career path. I was just...
When did you kind of realize that? Was this like when you were finishing school, or did you always know that you're not like that academic person?
I think during school I was very troubled kind of kid. I was causing a lot of trouble, a lot of mayhem. So I don't think I had any intentions of really following a career, going to uni. Like, that wasn't in my character. But around that same time, my brother, he's another like father figure to me. So I have 3 older brothers and I'm the youngest. So all of my brothers, I've been blessed that I have like 4 fathers, kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think each brother of mine, as well as my dad, of course, played a huge part in the career that I have today. And I'll highlight how each of them kind of played a part. But my brother Majid, he went to jail in 2016, and around that same time is where I was going through that mindset where I was like, you know, what do I actually want to do with my life? So when he went to jail, I kind of thought, all right, I don't think, you know, having 2 sons in jail is kind of something I want to put my mother through. So at that same time, he asked me, before he was on a remand, and he asked me, he goes, yo, what do you want to do with your life, kind of thing. So I was kind of confused, but I knew that deep down I've got a love for filmmaking. Obviously, a lot of kids always have that, like, everyone loves watching films, going to the cinema and that kind of thing. But for me, it was always like, I'm analyzing films and I'm watching films and trying to figure out why this shot was filmed that way, why the lighting's like this, you know what I'm saying? So I always had a different kind of eye for filmmaking. So I told him that, I goes, yo, I feel like maybe I should pursue something in films that learn how to use cameras and that kind of stuff. So instantly now my parents are like, yeah, he's not studying films, like he's not studying film media, typical Asian parent kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But my brother spoke to me and he goes, look, if he's not going to study, then he's going to end up doing something stupid, and you're better off him studying film than him being out on the road doing stupid kind of stuff. So my parents, they understood what he was trying to say. Thanks to him, they let me study film. So I was in college, and again,
Was that in the UK?
I was in the UK. Yeah, it was in a town called Gloucester, the city called Gloucester College, and again, my mind wasn't really in it. I was very disoriented. My brother was like, he got a big jail sentence, and my head was kind of all over the place. And then my teachers at the time, they kind of helped me sort of figure out the direction of turning your pain into purpose kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So they kind of showed me how to use whatever's bothering you and kind of make something good out of it. So I put all of my energy and, you know, my heart into this filmmaking thing. And I started making music videos for other artists. I made music videos for a lot of local artists at the time. And around that same time, because, you know, when you're around certain people, like if you're going to be around a circle of, you know, musicians, your heart's going to instantly start getting creative in music.
Yeah.
Or same with like filmmaking. If you're,
Yeah,
you
you
know?
start to build a passion for it.
Exactly, yeah. So energy sort of connect, and because I was spending a lot of time with musicians, doing music videos, instantly in my heart, I'm kind of like, yo, I want to try my hand at this, you know what I'm saying? I want to try writing a little bit, I want to do something like that. And my older brother, Malik, he was in this music game since he was like 12 years old, trying to just do his UK rap kind of thing. So I was like, you know what, I want to try something. So I made a song at the time, and a terrible song. It was a terrible song, but
Which
it was just something.
song was that?
It never came out.
Oh,
It never
right,
came out.
okay.
Luckily, it never came out. But there was no Arma then. I wasn't going.
Will you sing it for us?
That one, if we did that, then the podcast would get ended. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I needed to make that song to get to this point.
Yeah,
so
of course.
basically, I made this song, and 2-3 of my friends heard it. Nobody said it to my face because a lot of people don't have a lot of people won't do that. They'll go and talk behind your back. So
What about your brothers? Did they tell you to?
they never heard it. They never heard
they
it.
never heard
They never
it,
heard
right.
it. I wasn't confident enough to play it to
Okay.
everybody. So I just played it to 2-3 friends. What I found out afterwards, those 2-3 friends went around the ends and started talking about that song, saying, oh, yo, he thinks he can make music now. So when I heard this at the time, then I went to my brother and I goes, yo, now let's handle this. You know what I'm saying? People are talking whack about me. I don't know if we can swear on this.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I'm saying? But people are talking shit about me, bro. So let's go handle this. And my brother goes, yo, if you're going to cry about every time someone talks shit about you, then like, what do you actually expect to do in your life? Because you want to make films, someone's going to tell you your film's shit.
And they're
then
like
what are you gonna
open
do?
to criticism. They're open to
Exactly.
the world for
He
criticism.
said the only thing you can do, or you should do, is if you really care about what they're saying, make a song that's so hard that no one can talk shit about it. So when he said that, he put that into perspective.
That's great advice.
At the time, I have a friend, one of the closest friends to me is a guy called Seb. So I sat down with Seb and I'm like, bro, I need to respond to this. Like, I don't feel good about the fact that, because they are right. Deep down, I kind of knew I wasn't good. So I was like, but I don't really want to be a rapper. But I was like, deep down, I feel like I need to prove to myself that, yo, you can't be the one telling me that I can't rap. Do you know what I'm saying? I need to tell myself, okay, it's not for me. So how do I go about this? So he just basically said to me, bro, figure out what it is that you can do that they can't do. So me and Seb, we sat in the studio for hours trying to figure out, we was in Birmingham, trying to figure out, okay, how can I build my identity, my USP? And this is like 2019 times now. So Seb made a suggestion to me. He goes, yo, every time we're in the car, all you listen to is Bollywood, Punjabi music, that kind of stuff. Why don't you do something like that on a UK kind of beat? And then it's just like a light bulb moment, you know what I'm saying? I thought, you know what, let me start sampling the kind of music that I'm already listening to in my car. That was Bollywood music, old school stuff like the Shah Rukh Khan, Tujhe Mera Dikhta Hai, that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I don't think anybody's doing it at that time.
And was anybody doing that
I don't think at that time, in particular, nobody was doing it. But by the time I started releasing it, people did start doing it. We'll get to that. But around that time, nobody was doing it. So I was like, you know what? I think this is what I should do. So I made that track. Again, I never released it, never showed it to anybody because I just made it for me. I was like, cool, I've showed myself I can rap. Now I can just retire before even starting a career. I'm done. It's been like 6 months, this track's just sat there. And then my brother comes out of prison. and he moves to Germany. So we went to Germany to welcome him, and we're sat there. On the last day when I'm flying back to the UK, I goes, yo, I want to show you something, put your headphones on. Put his headphones on, and I played this track, the same track I made about these people. And he listens to it, and he's like, yo, this is cold, like, who the fuck's this, bro? Like, reloaded, he played it about 3 times.
Who's this? Really? You didn't recognize?
That's me.
Wow.
And because I was such a quiet kid, I was such a I was minding my own business, and I was just so like tunnel vision on whatever I was doing before. Nobody thought I'm the kind of kid that would then go and put myself on a song. And he's refusing to believe it's me. He's like, bro, this can't be you, bro. Like, because it's just not in my character at the time. So I just said, bro, I just made it, but I agree, I don't think it's me. I don't think I'm going to release it. And he goes, bro, you must be tapped if you think you're not releasing this. Like, this has to come out. So I thought, let me think about it, because I didn't have a plan. I didn't think, yo, I'm going to build my own like music brand and that kind of stuff. So I thought, cool, let me sit with it for a minute. And then I thought, let me just get back to the drawing board. I haven't made a song in 6 months. That song I made was a while ago. And
how long did it take you to make that song?
that was the one night. So the night Seth told me like, yo, get onto this Punjabi thing. That same night I wrote that song.
Wow.
And the song's called Shikari. I ended up releasing a little bit later. And the song's called Shikari. You can go listen to it. So after a few months, I thought, cool, let me get back into the studio, try something else. And then I made the song Tujh Mein, which then ended up becoming my first release. So COVID happened 2029. I thought, you know what, I think it's time. Let me just experiment, let me drop something. So I put a mask on. I had a mask made with Arma written in it.
We'll come to that.
yeah. So that's the time where I thought, cool, I don't know if I want to put my whole heart into this music thing, because as much as I enjoy it, I was always a filmmaker deep down, and I was like, I don't really want to clash the two things, so let me just build a mask. Arma's going to be a separate identity, and my Arma Films is a separate thing. So Tujh Mein came out. Tujh Mein released in June 2020, and overnight it just blew up on TikTok. There were like tens of thousands of TikToks being made on it, and people were just playing that song without even knowing who made that song. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing celebrities, like influencers with millions of followers are posting that song, but they don't know who I am.
How did that feel like for you and for like, your family?
It felt surreal, but at the same time, it felt a little bit like if they saw me on the street, they wouldn't even know who I am.
Right,
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not about that necessarily, but it's more so the case of you want to feel like the same time your accomplishments
you want credit for like what you've produced.
Of course,
really,
of course. But at the same time, I just feel like it felt like I could kind of feed both careers off of that same thing. So Rapman is a good example. He made Shiro's story, he made Blue's story, but it all stemmed from his rap career first.
Yeah.
So I thought, cool, why don't I do something like this where, you know, the Asian scene is wholeheartedly accepting my kind of music. And around the same time, there's a guy called Frenzo who started dropping music as well. He did start dropping music before me, and he started this sampling kind of thing. So I'd say he was probably the one that kind of came before me.
But do you feel like he just released it before you, but you were doing it before him?
I don't know if I was doing it before him, because the same way I was doing it for a year without releasing it, maybe he was doing it for years as well.
Yeah,
You know
right,
what I'm
okay.
I would say from my generation, because before that, obviously you had, you know, Bali Sagu, you had Rishi Rich, there were so many people doing it. Raghav, like 20 years ago. But from my generation, I think it was Frenzo that pioneered it. And then, you know, you can go and date check it. It's all out there. You can go and check when Tujh Mein came out. But when Tujh Mein came out, other than Frenzo, I don't think there was any other Asian rappers in the UK doing this whole sampling Bollywood kind of stuff. And I definitely think like I would give the flowers to Frenzo for really pushing that scene and making it into the mainstream what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Because before that, it wasn't really being heard.
Yeah, and then like after Frenzo, there was like, and yourself, then there was just like an influx of people doing it. Like it's something that was just became so common.
It did.
Like you'd hear samples on loads of tracks.
I think, but at the same time, it did get diluted. But I'd say that was a blessing for all of us, because it just really built that scene. There wasn't a scene before that, but now there's rappers from Birmingham, from Bradford. Everyone's doing it, which is a good thing at the same time for the Asians, because Asian rappers are now being sort of looked highly at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before that, there was a little bit of like, oh, he's a bit of an Asian though. I don't know if I want to listen to an Asian rapper. There was a lot of people with that kind of mentality, because it wasn't normal. There were so many people coming out from different ends doing it. I think it really did kind of build our identity. So that probably was a blessing, really.
Yeah.
How popular that became.
And do you feel like people now, when they listen to a British Asian rapper, like they expect a sample to be on it? Because I feel like I probably wouldn't listen to a British Asian rap song if it didn't have like a sample. That's me being honest. If it didn't have like a sample on it, because I too like Bollywood music.
I
Do you think a lot of people are like
I
that?
think that
or...
answers the question in itself.
Yeah, but I could be a minority.
To be honest, I think you're right to some extent in the sense of, you know, I've done some songs as well without samples and they haven't done as well. But what I would take from that is it doesn't necessarily need to be famous Bollywood samples. I just think you need to have an Asian infusion into the song, whether
Something
it's original,
relatable,
whether it's the original thing or it's a sample. If they have something Asian that they can sort of connect with, I think that's what really sells the song.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I think I agree with you there.
But I wouldn't say it's like I would solely focus on just sample kind of thing. It's just you need to fuse the two cultures together. If you're trying to make British Asian music, there's no need to just rap in English. If you can't rap in Punjabi, then bring in a feature, bring in somebody singing in Hindi, Punjabi, that kind of thing. And that's how you really fuse the two cultures together.
Yeah, is that kind of like what you want to focus on now? Is that right?
I like to say so, yeah. I like to say so. And, you know, I do want to say the beauty of the reason I told you why I started making that music is because, you know, somebody tried to tell me that I couldn't do it. Yeah. And I feel like,
and look where you are
people
now,
would really need to understand that, you know, you can't let somebody else dictate what you can and can't do, do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people will get caught up in that. They would either react in a stupid way or they would just listen to it and believe, all right, cool, you know what, maybe I'm not that guy. But if I did that, then there would be no career as Arma, the rapper or the videographer. You know, I've achieved a lot. Like, by the grace of God, I've hit some milestones in the last few years. And I feel like that was purely because I've been raised in a way where it was just a case of, you can't listen to other people talking down on you, do you know what I'm saying?
And had your brother not given you that advice back then when you were like, oh, what shall I do about this? What do you think you would have done?
I think it would have ended up snowballing into a lot more of a stupid scenario. I would have ended up in a stupid situation and just causing drama like I always was at the time too.
Right, yeah.
I feel like that's just the sort of upbringing that we had at that time. But because times were changing, like we were in more difficult situations, my brothers were taking a lot more, they had to go through a lot more at that period. So they wised up a lot, they matured up a lot. And because of that, where I was the youngest, they made sure that everything they were learning was then coming into me.
Yeah, which is a blessing, really.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, that was a blessing. And like I told you, there's been parts. So my brother Maj convincing my parents to let me study film. Then my brother Malik telling me, you know what, you need to take whatever nonsense people are saying and put that into your craft, put that into your art, and, turn that into power. And the rest is history, do you know what I'm saying?
And then when you decided that you wanted to do a bit of both, essentially, like the filmmaking and the rapping, did your parents have something to say about that? Or were they kind of like, oh no, he's like switching again?
You know what it is? My mum didn't actually know that I was making music until I took the mask off. And by the time I did
no
that,
way, really?
Yeah, because there was no need for her to know, do you know what I'm saying? It was one of them ones where it was like, it's not like I was famous at the time. It wasn't like people are going up to her. And what she...
But wait, hold on. Let's flip the switch for a minute. So if you had a son and he was making music with a mask on and you had absolutely no idea...
I mean, I guess...
And then you found out like maybe 2 years later, how would you feel about that?
I guess it all comes down to the fact that what's the content that he's producing. Like, I don't think I was producing any sort of horrific or explicit content, even my song like Dujum and stuff.
But those songs still got the views, like you wearing the mask, like some of them are up there at like 500,000 views.
Yeah. Dujum actually, that was my second song to hit 1 million. But by the time I took the mask off, I'd achieved somewhat of a name.
Yeah.
So when I showed my mum, she was actually pretty proud of me, you know, she was like, cool, like, she wasn't expecting me to be doing something like that, so she was quite proud of me. And since then, my mom's become a #1 fan. Like, everything I do, she wants to see it first.
Yeah.
She wants to see it first, she wants to hear it first.
But also, don't you think that's like an Asian thing as well? Mums like are obsessed with their sons.
Yeah, I guess so.
I might get a lot of hate for that, but...
I get a lot of calls sometimes, like when I'm traveling around and stuff. My mum's FaceTiming me with like relatives coming over and stuff, they want to chat to me. So, it's a blessing in itself because, to do something where you're
like, Mum, I'm in the middle of a concert right now, I'll call you back.
For real, man. But it feels good because it's like, you're doing something that you feel like your parents are somewhat, proud of what you're doing. And a lot of people will say that, it's music, so it shouldn't be sort of looked at in that perspective. But my answer is always, you know, my mum's seen a lot of harder times, and she's had to deal with a lot of stuff where, you know, my brothers have been in situations where she's felt, you know, very difficult. So if I could do anything that puts her in a bit more of a lighter or a positive, you know, position, and I'll happily take that, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in situations through this music where I've been, you know, I've been chilling with like Nasib Olal or Arif Lahar, people who my parents have grown up listening to. And I've been able to FaceTime my parents while I'm with them, and, you know, get them to interact with these people that they looked up to. So that's a blessing in itself, you know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy because, like you said, when you first said that you want to do filmmaking, your parents were like, oh, filmmaking?
Yeah, exactly.
And now, like, look where it's got you. So that's great. So I was actually going to ask you when you thought things started to change, but you answered that, like, it's when you spoke to both your brothers both times, like, about the filmmaking and...
But I want to give a shout out to my oldest brother Nassif. So my first major milestone in my career it partly came through him. So I was going through a really difficult time in 2021. I just lost my best friend, and I was debating. I was like, you know what, I feel like maybe I shouldn't do this music thing, and, you know, I wasn't really sure what to do with my life. And bearing in mind, my friend was my biggest support in my music, but it kind of felt like, yo, he's not here, like, to listen to it and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I have the drive or the heart to keep doing it. And then my brother gave me an idea. His favorite song was Kanayak, from the Sanjay Dutt movie Kanayak, and he always used to say to me, remix it. But I used to say to him, like, bro, that's such a different kind of old school vibe. Like, how the hell am I gonna bring that into my sound, into this trap sound? And I can't see any sort of I don't see that making sense. So there was no hope. I was like, yo, there's no hope in that remix, bro. That's not gonna get nowhere. Eventually, I came across a beat, and I could just hear the Kanayak melody on it. So I rang him. I goes, bro, I have something. Yeah, I wanna, like, when you come back from Germany, let's link up. I wanna show you something. He came down. We sat down. I goes, yo, I think it's time to do this Kanayak thing. And in my head, it was like, I'm gonna do this, and if this doesn't work, then I wasn't feeling like really doing music too much that time anyway. So I was like, cool. If this doesn't work, then I'll happily retire before I even really make it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I'd just taken my mask off, I think, a few months before that. So it's not like I'd built a huge identity or anything like that. But I was like, cool, let me make this song. My brothers always wanted me to remix Kanayak. And I found an artist from Birmingham at the time called Marnie. And I found him through TikTok Live. Shout out to Hans T. It's one of our mutual friends. He connected me with Marnie. And Marnie was quite known on TikTok at the time. He was doing a lot of these covers and stuff like that. So I linked up with him. I said, yo, I've got a project, Kanayak remix, if you want to do it. And we just made it in one night. It was a very quick song. I didn't think it was just something I made sort of. People think it's a banger, people think it's a car banger. It's in a lot of these Asian car banger playlists. But when you really deep the lyrics, there's a lot of stuff in there about what I was going through at the time, the loss I was going through with my friend. There's a lot of, like, darkness in that project. So go listen to Kanayak again with that perspective. And the song came out and literally broke all the records from my personal career at that time. Like, I remember it had like 20K views in a day. It had like 100K streams in less than a week. No promo, no nothing, all independent. You have to think, this was my first year of making music, so there's no one supporting me. There's no artists sharing my music. There's no one famous supporting me or nothing like that. Just me, Marnie, two youths trying to do our thing. And that became my first million views. And that's when I realized, okay, you know what? Maybe I should do this. Maybe this is something that, you know, I'm meant to do. And
what about the friend that you made it for? Like, how did he feel about the track?
My brother?
Was it your brother?
My oldest brother,
Your brother,
yeah. So he, till this day, he takes full credit for that song. He's like, yo,
that's his claim to fame.
I want my own plaque. He goes, I want my own plaque, because it hit like 2.8 million views. He goes, I want my own plaque. But yeah, props to him. He's given me a lot of good, like, ideas and direction. My song Animal, again, we went to watch Animal, and he said to me at cinema, he goes, yo, you need to remix this Jamal Kutu song before it goes viral. And literally, lo and behold, a couple of days after that, it's everywhere. The song's everywhere. And, you know, he's got a really good brain for this kind of stuff, really good ear. He was actually a musician before himself. So I think, you know, if it wasn't for him as well, there was a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have achieved. So big shout out to all of my brothers couldn't have done it without any of
What
them.
kind of music did your brother make? Is it
Exact same.
Oh, really?
Exact
Okay.
same, yeah. So none of it is actually out there anymore. But
Oh, okay.
my brother Nasif, he was actually one of the first like British Punjabi rappers ever. Like ever.
Really?
You know, when there was like Bohemia doing it in America, Huggy Singh was doing it from India. I don't think there was many. I know Roach Killer was obviously doing it in Canada, but there wasn't many people doing it in the UK. I think there was like Rackstar and a few people, but it wasn't a huge sound. There wasn't a huge market for it, and my brother was doing it around that time, like early 2010s.
It's great that your family gives you that kind of direction and guidance as well, and they're like very supportive of you.
100%. I'm very blessed to have the family that I have. You know, there's so many people that have to keep this sort of stuff on the down low, or you know, their families sort of don't give them wholehearted support with this kind of stuff. You know, and
well, it is like, I mean, it probably is a tough industry to break into, right? Like, there's probably a lot of people who have tried and maybe not succeeded. So.
No, 100%. And I've met a lot of these people. Like I went to Pakistan a few months ago, and there was artists there I'm meeting, and you know they've had to stay out of home and stuff like that to support their career and you know pursue their career. And it just really humbles you because it makes me feel like, you know what, sometimes a song doesn't hit like 1 million views, or if I'll get like, I've done some songs that haven't done as well and they've got like a couple of 100,000 views or whatever. And you know, sometimes you think someone will say to you, "Oh, yo, bro, that track flop, bro, like it deserves a lot more." Then I think, bro, there was a time when I was getting excited and appreciative of 10,000 views. I remember going out for a meal with me and my friends, like, yo, I just hit 50K views, let's go celebrate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I understand why, you know, the bars and like the levels change, and, you know, the bars all of a sudden get set higher. But I think we should still appreciate the smaller things and appreciate the fact that 50,000 views is still successful. Like if there was 5,000 people stood in front of us right now, we wouldn't, like, we'd lose our minds. We couldn't count those people.
Well,
you know
there'll be 5,000 people standing in front of you soon, but we'll come to that as well. One thing I don't think enough people know about you is what you touched on, that you're also beyond the music, you've been directing as well, and that's what you started off with. So is there any like artists, that music videos that you've directed that people would know?
Yeah, to be honest, I've done a lot of stuff for a lot of people in the UK, outside of the UK. A lot of my fans will know, but I directed a lot of stuff for Roach Killer. For the last few years, anything you've been seeing Roach kind of bringing out, most of the stuff was done either with me directing it or me like creative directing it. Me and Roach have that kind of relationship. So even if he's doing videos with people in a different country, he'll FaceTime me. I'm like, yo, chat to the director, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be doing my own shoot or something. I think I was in a studio and he FaceTimed me. He's filming the video Amrood in Lahore with Joe Gajeezy. And he FaceTimed me like, yo, I'm just here right now. We want to do this, and this. Can you just chat to the DOP? And I'm like, bro, I'm in the middle of something. But I was like,
And
cool.
do they, so wherever he is, do they have like directors on set as well? But then he's like, oh, wow.
Now, with all
like...
due respect to his directors, but the thing is, because we have such a rapport, me and him, he wants me to kind of get that through to whoever he's filming with.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
I filmed a lot of stuff with him. I filmed his song Arden Umaj Karawan with Arab
that's
and Deep Jandu.
big
That
song,
was a huge song. I think it's on like 200+ million views now. So that was another big.
You should take credit for that. You should be like,
you know what?
that was
Send
on
me my
me.
plaque, Roach. I need that 200 mil plaque on my wall. But again, I'm very grateful to Roach for giving me that project and, you know, allow me to work with such legends like Deep Jandu, out of Lahore. So I've like had a blessed opportunity. Then I've done a lot of stuff with Birmingham rapper Milo. He's doing a lot of bits, couple million views we've hit on our videos as well. He's a really good talent as well coming out of Birmingham. And then I'm doing a lot of stuff, to be honest, with a lot of UK artists as well. You know, a lot of people have been hitting me up after I've done the stuff with Roach and they want the videos. But with me, it's like, I don't do videos for a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? I don't do like, you can't shout at me and be like, yo, bro, I'm giving you £1,000, £2,000, let's shoot a video. It's not about that. I only choose, like, I'm very selective on the projects that I work with, and there's nothing to do with the artists. I'll never look at the views that you have or, you know, the numbers that you're hitting. It's all about the idea, like the project. What do you want to do with it, and where do you see me bringing, like, some sort of, you know, elevation into the project? Like, there's no point in me doing it if I can't make it any better than what it is in your brain. You know what I'm saying?
That actually brings me on to my next question, which was, do you see the visuals and storytelling in a video just as important as the song, or do you think that comes secondary?
100%. I think you can't do, so if you notice, if you go on my Spotify and stuff, there's a handful of songs on there that haven't got videos attached to them. So I don't like to just drop audio songs. And that's probably why I haven't dropped the album or anything yet, because where I'm a videographer first, I try and look at each track, each project as a project on the whole. So I'm watching the music video, the lighting, the cover art, everything needs to be like properly coordinated from before the track's even made, in my opinion. And that's how I like to work. And I think that's probably what sets me apart a little bit from my contemporaries or a lot of the artists, because a lot of people don't handle everything. They don't handle, you know, the videography side of things, the cover art, or a lot of people have teams and labels doing that stuff for them. And I've got a team as well, but we do everything together. Do you know what I'm saying? We sit and we conceptualize the whole idea together from A to Z. Then we figure out, okay, cover art wise, how can we make this different from the previous artwork? So we try and tick everything off one by one, and I think it shows in each project.
So you've got quite a big say in all your projects.
100%.
And do your team like that about you, or do they wish that you'd take more of a backseat?
I mean, that's something that you'd have to ask them. But I think I'm not as bossy a figure in that sense. Like, I don't order anybody around or anything. It's a trick, it's a team effort. I think I also wholeheartedly accept ideas from other people, you know, a lot of times.
And how often do you go with those ideas?
No, it's like I told you,
10%.
like I told you, Animal and Like wasn't my idea. Those two songs were my older brother's idea. And Asian Top Boy, my song Asian Top Boy, it's that track was a piece of art which didn't get its due, in my opinion. It's not a big hit or anything, but if you watch the music video, it's a big song. That idea was my boy Seb. Big shout out to Seb. That was his idea. I wrote a freestyle, a Top Boy freestyle, because I think Top Boy was coming to an end. It was the final season, and I wrote a freestyle. He heard it. He said, bro, this deserves to be a full song. He came up with the idea, let's go to the cafe, the summer house, all of that. And we went and shot in the real locations. And then he also thought, cool, if we're doing this, let's get some people from the real Top Boy involved. So we got Jason, the actor, Ricky Smarts. He came into it. We got him the same wardrobe, same jacket as his character, Jason and Top Boy. And again, that was Seb's idea, do you know what I'm saying? So obviously I would then take the idea and add my own sauce to it, add my own additions to it. But like I said, I feel like I have to take ideas from everybody else as well, you know what I'm saying? Because people have lived lives that I can't live. You know what I mean? So everyone will have a different vision, everyone will have a different direction.
Yeah, of course. So. And do you think that directing your own videos gives you more control over how people see you and interpret you as like an artist?
That's a good question. I think I would like to say so, yeah, because a lot of times when labels are involved, or, you know, you're doing a track for somebody else, and I have done some features and stuff, but you have limited control on, you know, how you can present yourself on the song, what you can talk about and that kind of stuff. So, or sometimes label tell you what to wear in a track. So, you know, I don't have that issue. Like, I've turned down quite a few sort of big projects, and even Animal was a really, really big label wanting to buy that song, and we kind of turned it down just because it wasn't making sense. Like, we wouldn't have really been able to get what we got with it. This is before JK even came onto the song. So a really big Indian label wanted to buy that track, and it just wasn't making sense because it felt like it wasn't going to end up going the direction that we wanted to take it in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to answer your question, I feel like because I still have that control of the visuals and the content of the song, it does allow me to then present myself in a very real way, and the audience can get an understanding of who I really am because of that.
So how do you deal with, like, if you're doing a song with a label, for instance, and you get like the completed project and you don't like it, like, how do you deal with that?
I think
if the color grading is off, for instance.
I think, yeah, you know about that story. I think I had to tell you that story. So I think it's just one of those ones. You have to remind yourself that, you know, you're not, like, you can be a perfectionist, but you're not perfect. Like, and I've said this in an interview before, like, perfect doesn't exist in my world. So I think it's been a long task, but I had to teach myself that, you know what, even I'm not always right. Even I'm not a genius, and I can't do everything. So there's been times, certain projects in particular, where I haven't liked, for example, you know, the label or someone has wanted to get a certain person to color grade or a certain person to do a certain job on the video. And I feel like, you know what, if I had the control, I would get somebody else to do it, or I would do it a little bit differently. But a lot of the people around me are telling me that it looks amazing. So then it kind of shows you, okay, you know what, my vision isn't always the right vision. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you have to work as a team if you really want to achieve something. And I had to force myself to learn that, you know what, sometimes you have to take other people's ideas as well. And your idea isn't always going to be the best one. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you have to think so many people, when you see a movie, there's always 300, 400, even more people involved in creating that visual. So there's never going to be one person. Just obviously the director is the leader, shit. But even the director listens to everybody.
Like
whether it's the
everybody has a
producer, whether it's the
say.
writer, you know, everybody has a say or input. And if Steven Spielberg has such a big team, like who the hell am I to be, like now I'm only listening to myself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you touched on one thing I want to talk about is the balaclava era. So what was like kind of the thought process behind that? Was it simply because you didn't want people to know who you are while you were like figuring out whether you wanted to wholeheartedly do music, or was it just like something that you thought would gain like traction?
It was kind of, partly both. It was, I wasn't hiding my identity. If somebody at the time in my area where I used to live, they used to say to me that, yo, I think I heard your song on your
I think that's you.
Yeah. Then I openly accepted, that's me, of course it's me. But
that would have been like a minority of people, right? Like people maybe
well, if
that
you
actually
knew me, then
like,
exactly. But it was more so only because I was like, I don't know if that is really me, in the sense of, am I really someone that wants to do music full time? Do you know what I'm saying? Like anything I was rapping about, anything I was presenting was me. And it was like some stuff I was saying in there was controversial, was a lot, and I was like, I don't know if I want to associate that with my face. And that's why a lot of rappers, a lot of, famous names right now, they don't show their face. But for me personally at that time, I just thought, I don't know if it will make sense for me to show my face and make this my identity. When the music started taking off and, every track was getting some good traction, good numbers. And primarily I noticed that my songs that are more like love oriented, the love songs for the girl market and that female market, they were gaining more tractions than the track that were more so for like the male dominated, like gangster sort of sound, like the trap sound. So then I realized, I don't think there's
then you realize, right, I need to show the ladies my face.
Nah, not even.
That's what it was.
You know what it is? I just realized that there's no point in pursuing a market that isn't gonna end up feeding me. And the market that was feeding was, like I said, that love sound, because that's global and they can listen to that and they don't even need to hear what you're saying, as long as it sounds good. Whereas the other sort of sound that I did a track called No Breaks with Shaker the Baker, I did even Connect to some extent, those are for a certain sort of male dominated market, and they really listen to what you're saying and they need to take it in order to believe you, in order to like what they're hearing. So for me, I was like, you know what, there's more potential and more exclusivity in the sound that's global for the girls, for the love sound. And for me to reach a certain level on that, if I keep my face hidden, I can't reach that certain scale, because you're always limited. People won't call you to mailers, people won't call you to certain performances if you're coming there valued up like you're about to go and queue up the place. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that because they don't feel comfortable around their families, around their kids. So I realized if I want to get to that stage, I have to accept this as my identity. I have to show my face, and if that then grows my career or completely like dampens it, that's for the future. But alhamdulillah, the minute I took the mask off, everything doubled. The reach doubled, the followers doubled, the sound doubled, and now I'm here. So I think I'm pretty glad I made.
Which song was it? And was there like a build up to the song where you removed the? Is it Frankfurt to Dam?
Frankfurt to Dam. You know about that as well. Yeah, you really do like research,
And there's like a scene where you're like slowly removing the balaclava. Was that like your big reveal?
Cinematic, you know what I'm saying? Try to do like a little.
How was that like received? Do you think?
Dark Knight kind of thing. So at the time, I think a lot of people told me I did it too soon because the build-up wasn't long enough.
How many songs before Before that, had you released four songs?
And then Frankfurt Down was the fourth song, I believe. So it was super early into the career. But because every song was gaining traction, I was like, let me just do it because I don't think I want to prolong it because I've already decided I'm going to take it off. So let me do it right now. I'm not a sort of guy that tries to think of tomorrow too long. I don't want to sit here and just think, tomorrow I'm going to do this, and then the day after I'm going to do that, and then next week I'll do that.
Let's just do it.
I'd rather live in the moment, do it right now. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then cool, keep it moving. So I made that decision, let me take it off. And a lot of people don't know that song only because that was my first song without a sample. So I took a big experiment, big risk. And my first song without a sample is also my song where I took the mask off. So a lot of people didn't hear that song and they didn't realize I took the mask off because the song didn't blow up like my other stuff.
Okay.
Because it didn't have a sample, it didn't have that kind of Bollywood connection. And like I was saying, there was hardly anything Asian about that song. So it was a mistake in that sense, but it was a learning curve. So I think at that time I should have been a bit more wiser with what song I'd take the mask off in, but...
Do you think you were just like in a hurry to like just take it off?
Not a hurry, but it was just like I said, I made up the mind. I was like, I want to do it, so let me do it right now. My next song is this, it was ready. A lot of people were telling me they're feeling the song and they said it's my best song at the time. And I think it was at that time, it was a heavy song. It was a very strong banger. And I think when it came off, the mask came off, I mean, the reception was good because I presented it in a certain way. It was like a proper movie. So if you haven't seen it, there's a trilogy out there. It's Shikar, Frankfurt Dam, and then there's a third part, Ride With Me. You go check it out on my YouTube. But again, I haven't seen anybody else in this particular scene do anything like that, where it's 3 music videos that are connected. There's a storytelling narrative going on. And there's a few people doing it, like Zach Knight's done it with I can't remember the track name, but he had, Yard Karogi, and there's a storyline going on, him and his girl, and I think Raf Sapiro's done it a few times, narrative-driven videos. But I think in that sort of way, a trilogy where they're all connected and there's characters coming back in each video, that's very unique. And I think it got kind of slept on at the time, so I'm going to do it again this year. A lot of people don't know, so...
Are you putting the mask back on?
No, not the mask, not the mask. But
Also, do you still have that mask?
Of course I do, yeah, that mask is
like
for the history, but that's going to get put in a museum at some point.
Mark his words, it's going to get put in a museum.
100%, but I'm doing another trilogy this year, inshallah, so I've got an EP that I've been working on for about 2 years now, and it's the idea for the concept has been there for a long time, but I just thought it's the right time. I'm going to develop it over the last few years, and I did about 2-3 years in the making now. The rest of this year as well, I'm going to just finesse it a little bit more, and hopefully towards the end of the year that's going to drop. But it's going to be 3 music videos all connected to each other, one story, one cast, and that's all I can say on it right now. But I think now I'm in a better position, in a better place. I have more reach than I did when I made the first trilogy in Frankfurt Dam and all of that. So I think, fingers crossed, it'll be a lot more, a lot wider reach this time. It'll be a lot more for the commercial audience rather than just that small pocket of audience that I had last time. Yeah.
And let's talk about your song Aja Mahia. That's one of, it got 3.5 million views on YouTube. Is that one of your most streamed songs?
I think, I think that is number one.
That is the most streamed,
Kalnaik was the most streamed, and then it was removed. So a lot of people are always I get DM every 2-3 days at least saying, where's Kalnaik on YouTube. So I don't know if you noticed, but Kalnaik was removed from YouTube about 2 years ago. So
can you tell us that story?
Yeah. So it's an interesting story because you know what it is? A lot of people will say sampling, you're stealing songs, or you're riding off of someone's success or whatever, but try it for yourself. Just try sampling and see if you get the success that a lot of us have received, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that easy.
But then sampling, there is a process, right? For you to get permission, etc., to use the song.
100%.
Yeah, so you're not stealing the song.
That's what I was going to get at, though. So, Kanai, for example, when I made that song, like I told you earlier, I was still at the very, very early stages of my career, my first year, and I didn't think anybody was ever going to hear that song like that. The most views I'd had at the time was 200, 300K on Tujumin. So in my head, I was like, we don't need permission, bro. Who are we? India's never hearing this. They're never going to hear my song. I'm a very small...
India did hear that song, though.
Wow. So it came out of Birmingham, and like I said, it just took off. It got to about 2.8 million views. That was my first track to hit 1 million, then second million. All of a sudden, one day I wake up and I receive an email from a label in India telling me that, yo, we've striked this song and we're taking you to court. So obviously that put things into a lot of perspective, and I'm thinking, yo, I didn't think this was ever even gonna get that big, and I didn't think Like or any of my songs were, because I was just a small time rapper from the UK, and I'm thinking, you know, I didn't think it was ever gonna reach Bollywood or that kind of stuff. But that song initially overtook. So when you search Like, my one was coming up before the original movie. So I think that's what got me a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So that was never my intention. I never wanted to sort of do anything like that, because obviously in my head I was paying tribute and homage to these classics.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, because I was quite young, early and naive into the scene, I didn't realize that, you know, you have to go through these right protocols. So, you know, we sat down with the label, quite a few people that I know, like in India, they sort of sorted that situation out for me. Luckily it didn't escalate, it didn't go to court, and it got dropped. So
the label asked you to remove the sample from?
Yeah. So the track had to get removed in order to basically secure that situation. So the track got removed at 2.8 million views, unfortunately. But I had to take that as I wouldn't even call it an L, because I'm still the guy that hit that 2.8 million views, me and Marnie. So I had to remind myself, cool, you know, I had to go through that to then learn that I can't be doing that. I'm a professional artist now, so you have to go through the right positions and protocols, and you can't be, because essentially you are then stealing someone's sound if you're not taking permission for it. So
and then did you ever ask the label for permission to like
for that particular song? We did speak about it, but they said Like is gonna get remade at some point, so they can't give anybody licensing.
Right,
So unfortunately, we can't re-release Like, or we can't. It's out of my hands. At some point, you know what I'm saying, if the label wants to reach out to me and we talk about re-releasing it, then that's another story. But for now, I think they're gonna remake it themselves. So it's out of my hands, unfortunately. A lot of people keep DMing me about that, but yo, can't do nothing about that, man. You know, it keeps getting re-uploaded anyway, so keep enjoying the re-uploads. Fans keep re-uploading it, and then it keeps getting taken down. But that's out of my hands, and I can't do nothing about that. But I think there's a SoundCloud upload of Like with like 5 million streams on it, and I don't know who uploaded that. Some kid, like someone uploaded that and they got 5 million streams on my song. So you know what I'm saying, it's always gonna be out there. The label can keep taking it off, but that song made it so big that it's gonna keep coming back and back. So you know what I'm saying, like. And
when you woke up and realized it had been taken down, did your heart sink? Were you like,
I'm not gonna lie, there's a period where I felt like that's it, man. Like I was like, it's gone. Like a lot of the stuff that I'd done, and you know, the hard work that I'd done, it's just kind of been washed away. And like I said, that was my first big milestone, that track, first song to hit 1 million and 2 million, and it was this close to 3 million. So my eyes were like, yo, you know. But like I said, I had to go through that to then realize that that's not the right way to do things. If I'm trying to be a professional and trying to be an artist that's gonna sort of do something monumental, you can't do those things without the right permissions. Because if tomorrow someone took one of my original tracks, and there's many out there, there's Dead and All, there's gonna be a whole EP coming with no samples, nothing like that. So even Frankfurt to Dam, if someone then sampled one of these songs without my permission, I wouldn't be too happy about it. So I realized, you know what, there's right ways to go about these things. And since then, any song that I have sampled, it has been in a legit way. I've got the right people organizing these things for me. So to go back to your, back to your original question, Adamahia, so that became my first track to then hit 3 million. So finally, alhamdulillah, I did hit 3 million. So that was a good feeling as well. And that track, surprisingly, till this day, I don't know how that hit 3.5 million.
It's a good song. It's a good track.
That video was like one night.
Really?
Took me like 2-3 days to edit. It wasn't a mad video or anything like that. I didn't really spend much money on it. The track as well, I think it was just made in one night. And I don't realize, like, sometimes it's those kind of tracks where you just do it for fun. You don't really think about it, and you don't think, okay, I need to hit views, I need to do this, and this. And, you know, I think sometimes it's those tracks that just go viral. But because you asked about Ajamahi, I would like to touch on a story that nobody knows, just those close to me. But the night that I recorded Ajamahi, the track in the studio, I was in Birmingham, in the studio with my boy D Green. He's actually quite a big rapper now himself. D Green, at the time he was just an engineer, and we recorded the track, and I'm driving home, and all of a sudden my car starts shaking. Like I could feel the tires off. There's something wrong with the tire, and it says no hard shoulder for 4 miles. So I'm thinking, shit, like cool. So I need to drive super slow. So I'm in the slow lane, doing like 40, 50, and yo, the car is shaking, and I'm like, I don't think any second now the tire's gonna either burst or fly across the M-way. So I've had to stop now. There's no hard shoulder. I've had to stop, and I've put my hazards on, and I've jumped out and I've put the the triangle thing, all of that. So, but it's the middle of the night. It's like 2 in the morning on a weekday. So, and it's mad cold. It was January the 31st. So I'm staying in the car because it's freezing cold right now. Like, so I rang the breakdown, and they're saying we can't get there because you're in a live lane. You need to call the police. Police are saying we're gonna be about 20 minutes. I come off the phone, and I'm looking around, and there's some construction work going on the other side of the motorway. So I thought, cool, you know how they say you should get out of the car ASAP? I'm like, yo, I've kind of been in the car for 10, 15 minutes, kind of dangerous. You probably get out of the car. So I look at this construction work, and I thought, let me just go over there and just kind of get out of this. I grab my backpack, jump out of the car, and I saw there's nothing coming on the M-way. Ran across, jumped over to the other side. I'm approaching these construction workers, and all of a sudden, I hear a big bang, and I turn around, and a huge van comes and hits my car. My car goes flying into pieces.
Wow.
Like, there's pieces of my car all over the motorway. And I was in that car about 30 seconds before that happened for a good 10, 12 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? On the phone to the breakdown, then the police.
I did not expect that. I thought you were going to say that you took it as an opportunity to like shoot a video or something.
Exactly, yeah. So when that happened, and I realized, I looked at my car thinking, initially the first thought in your head is, yo, my fucking car. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had that car for like 6 months, and that car was in Kalnite. We used to call it the Kalnite car. It was a 1 Series, and I only had it for about 5, 6 months. So my first instinct is like, yo, my car, like, the fuck? And then all of a sudden it hit me like, yo, I was just in that car about seconds ago, less than a minute ago. And a lot of people might think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. And it just reminded me that, you know what, sometimes, like, when it's not your time, it's not your time.
Yeah.
It was as simple as, God or whoever you believe in, whether it's like guardian angel, it picked me up from here, from A, and took me out of danger, chucked me onto B, like, it's not your time to be injured right now. And it just showed me that, you know what, like, everyone's here for a purpose. And in that moment, I just realized, cool, you know what, I think whatever I'm here to do, like, I haven't done it yet. The purpose of my life, I haven't achieved it entirely yet. So I just find it interesting that night I recorded Arma here, which then went on to become my biggest song. And a lot of people don't even know that the night I made that song, I just about dodged death by a few seconds.
That's crazy. That's crazy. When you look at your catalogue of songs, are there any certain songs that feel like timestamps of your life? Like, I know you mentioned before that obviously you take what's happening in your life and put it into your songs.
Yeah.
Are there any specific songs that are like timestamps of what's exactly been happening in your life?
I think, like I said, there's a lot of bars in there that were kind of disguised. People think it's just a commercial car banger, but there's a lot of darkness that I put into that track, especially the second verse. So if you go and take a listen to that, and I wrote all of the lyrics, even some of the Marnie lyrics. Some of them are from the original Kanlag track, and the rest of them I wrote them. So that's a lot of depth that was in my heart from losing my friend at the time is in that song. So Kanlag's a big one. And there's a track called Dunya, which I'll always refer back to. It came out in 2022, and that track talks about that accident that I just told you about. Briefly, I talk about 30 days into the year, I nearly lost my life, but I'm still here for a reason. So, there's a reason I'm alive, basically. Yeah. So, Dunya is another major track. I discussed like some of the family situations I'm going through at the time, my brother's jail time.
Yeah.
A lot of that content was in Dunya. So I'd say Dunya is a monumental track. A lot of people say to me as well, that's their favorite track of mine, and that's my own personal favorite track as well.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Yeah,
there's a piece of me in that track.
So would you say that's the track that means the most to you?
100%. Even the visual for Dunya, there's parts of me as a baby holding a little plastic microphone and stuff like that in that video. So I showed a side of me that I never showed before, and I told a story that I hadn't told before about my childhood. So I think if you really want to learn my character outside of this podcast, then the Dunya, the track, you definitely go check that out on YouTube with the video.
What about a track that you've made that you feel like should have got more love?
That's too many of them.
Too many?
Too many of them, I swear to God. I feel like everywhere I go, people say different tracks with that same situation. Like, I have a track called Naseeb. Everyone in Germany tells me, yo, that deserve more love, or I have a track.
But then that's just people's opinion, right? What about
my personal opinion?
your personal opinion, yeah.
I would say Top Boy, Asian Top Boy. I think that track is... I think a lot of people told me that it came out at the wrong time because Top Boy had just come out their final season and there was so much content coming out from Top Boy.
But then didn't you think that because of that, that would make it a good time?
That's what I thought. But the problem is because it was called Asian Top Boy, and I'm showing a perspective of like, what if Asians were in that world? So I recreated the entire world. We've got the same guns, we've got some of the cast, same locations. Problem is, a lot of people who aren't Asian now, to them, it almost felt like a mimicry, I think. That's how they took it. It feels a little bit like you're kind of creating. It felt like it probably came across like a little bit of a parody kind of thing.
Oh,
and
really?
I think it wasn't presented in the right way.
How do you set that record straight then?
I think personally, I presented it in the wrong time.
Right.
Because it had an Asian sample on there. It had Mardala from Dave Das, one of my favorite tunes. But I think it just didn't make sense to drop it when the whole world is talking about Top Boy. The actual final season has just come out. There's, reactions coming out all over. There's Ashley Walters was dropping music as well. So it's like, to drop something in the middle of all of that and then try and tell the world like a different story come from Top Boy world, it didn't really make sense. I think I should have left a little bit of a gap and then dropped that song personally, because it did go viral on TikTok. And I feel like from there, I was expecting a lot more success. That was my first song to, I think, really hit some big numbers on TikTok, but it didn't translate into the final track. And I don't know exactly, like, sometimes you can't pinpoint what the actual reason was for a track not doing too well. And like I said, I know for a lot of people, they didn't feel like it was a serious kind of remake of that Top Boy world. So I think that song deserved a lot more love. And even as a music video, or a short film, however you want to take that, I think I directed that pretty well. I think that whole world was recreated in a nice way, and I tried to present the Asians in a way where a lot of people don't get that representation in the UK media. So just to touch on that, I think because of that Asian Top Boy not doing too well, that fueled something in me that I'm now going to create something that is going to represent the Asians in that world a lot stronger. So I'm definitely going to make something. I'm developing something for the last 2 years that's going to it's going to showcase British Asians in a way that they don't really get the opportunity to be showcased in, British media. There's a lot of people trying to do it now. I said there's a movie called Upnas coming out, and they're representing Asians in a nice way. So I think more people need to start doing that kind of stuff, and I think the series that I'm developing right now, I think that's really gonna set that sort of record. And I think, inshallah, if that gets the right momentum, then that'll be my my resurgence off of that Asian Top Boy not getting the numbers that it deserves. So yeah, I'm gonna put all of that, the fact that didn't do well, I'm gonna put all of that into this, and you know what I'm saying. Did
you receive any criticism from the actual Top Boy team? No. Did anybody reach out to you and say this is cool or
They
not?
They did see it. So my producer at the time, A-Class, who produced Asian Top Boy, he told me that a lot of the artists in Top Boy, a lot of the actors, they're also musical artists.
Right.
So I don't want to name anyone just because I don't know if they want their sort of feedback out there in public, but some of the main cast from the Top Boy Summer House series, so the OG series, and one of the major actors from the new series on Netflix, they all saw the video, they all saw the track, and they appreciated it. They showed a lot of love. But I think another thing they couldn't really understand is, why was there an Asian sample in this? Do you know what I'm saying? So that was another thing that was kind of coming up. So I think a lot of places I kind of didn't really, because again, I don't know everything, and I was just trying to kind of do what I've been doing, but do on a bigger level. I think if I could do it again differently, I'd remove the Asian sample. I'd put it in the background. So I have a lot of songs like Darko or Nafre where the sample's in the background. The sample isn't leading the track, or I'm not relying on the track, on the sample to lead the track or sell the track for me. So I think Top Boy, I should have done the same thing. I shouldn't have made the sample the hook. I should have been on the hook and the sample should have been in the background, because that way, that audience, the non-Asian audience, wouldn't get confused. And, you know, there's no subtitles either, so that'll never mess up on my part, because they don't understand what the chorus is saying, so they're like, yo, we don't really understand what's going on here. So I think there's a few little learning curves I learned from that. And but yeah, no criticism. Luckily, you know, a lot of people showed a lot of love to that track, especially the Top Boy cast. Again, a lot of people don't know this because I haven't had the opportunity to tell them, but the actual actors from the series showed a lot of love to that song. So and obviously we had Jason, Ricky Smarts, my boy, he was in that, and he killed it. And yeah, man, yo, if we brought Jason back to life, yo, a lot of people kept crying that, yo, Jason didn't deserve to die like that. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, we brought him back.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, definitely though, in my series as well, what I'm developing, you know, Ricky's going to be involved in that as well. But I'm trying to make it as far from Top Boy as possible, because I think I don't want it to turn into an Asian Top Boy. I've already done that and it didn't really do what it should have done. So we need to really create our own world and our own sort of voice and movement, and I think Asians can do that very easily, you know what I'm saying?
So when you make your music and you release it, do you feel like for the most part your audience is Asian, or would you like to reach like people who are not Asian with your music, even with the songs with the sampling and stuff? Yeah,
100%. I think a lot of my music is predominantly for the Asian audience.
Was it always like that?
I rap in Punjabi and stuff as well. It wasn't always like that. So when I started my career, so I'm glad you asked this question, because when I started my career, most of my stuff was in English, and there was like maybe 1-2 bars of Punjabi somewhere chucked in there. But I think I was kind of not confused, but I was in my early stages where I wasn't aware of where I wanted to kind of go and who I was trying to appeal to. So it took a while. I kept making sort of sound that was for the UK Asians, and then after a while, it hit me, and this is actually pretty recent. I'd say probably in the last 2 years. After my track Animal, I felt like I have a certain sound, because a lot of people kept asking me to do a certain sound, which was, you know, the Arja Mahia and that kind of just sample something and then just rap in English on top. But I realized that I've done that quite a lot and it's done well, and I like doing that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't set me apart from anybody. Like, you know, a lot of people can do that, and a lot of people do it well. Some people do it even better than me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I thought, what can I do? And again, this goes back to what my boy Seb said to me at the start of my career. What can you do that the others can't do? So I had to sit myself down and kind of deep that, you know what, I think the Punjabi infusion in my songs, I don't see anybody else doing that in the UK. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't see them mixing like full sentences, forming four bars, 8 bars of Punjabi. And that's what Animal, I think I tried to showcase that, because I thought, we've got JK, we've got my boy Edge doing the English sound anyway. Let me be different on this track and show everybody what I can do that they can't do. So then I chucked the Punjabi in there, and after that I learned that I think that's my USP and that's part of my identity. It took a few years to develop it and, you know, really, you know, embrace it. But I think now I've realized that my sound isn't just catered for the UK. It's bilingual, and that's what the English, because the English is global. It doesn't just need to be for the UK. So there's people in Pakistan that are telling me to do more English rap. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think I've realized that bilingual is the way forward, because I am British Asian at the end of the day. I am somebody who speaks both languages. So I should cater for both, and I should feed both markets and sell myself as that, who I really am. You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever feel like a pressure to fit into a version of success that doesn't feel true to you?
No, not necessarily, to be honest. I don't allow myself to even be in certain situations or positions where I have to behave in a way where I naturally wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't really allow myself to even try and, like, one thing I really hate is pretentiousness, and I can't be that guy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
is that a process of your journey though? Or were you always like that? Or, and like at the start of your career, were you sort of not chasing likes and views, but, you know, thinking more?
From that perspective, yeah, to some extent. I definitely don't think I was trying to, fit into like a certain version of success or anything like that. But of course, like when you hit your first like million views and stuff, and you start thinking, cool, like, and every track needs to hit million now and that kind of stuff. And one thing that I hope a lot of artists, that if any artists do watch this, I want them to take is, when you do it for that sort of stuff, man, it doesn't come like, you do it for millions and whatever. It just naturally, I felt like it never happens. And the few times, like I'm telling you, Arja Mahia, or even my last song, Daku, where you just do it because you want to. You have something you want to kind of get out, and you do it with your heart rather than thinking, cool, like, this will definitely work on TikTok. And, let's put this in there to make it pop off, or let's put ads on and that kind of stuff, which I don't do. So it's like, when I when I haven't done that, it always somehow pops off and people organically fall in love with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you chase views and numbers and all that sort of stuff, I don't think it comes easily. And when you don't chase it and you do it just with your heart for the right reasons, I think it comes a lot easier.
Daco is actually my favourite song of yours. And I feel like a lot of people have the same thoughts as me, like they saw that on TikTok and have related to you like a lot more, and then also are seeing your face for maybe even the first time. And I feel like that song has actually like propelled you upwards a little bit as well.
Definitely.
Would you agree, or do you think I'm wrong?
100%.
Yeah, even the video for it was like so good.
Yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate that. I was quite happy with that visual as well, and a lot of people don't know that was a one-night edit.
Wow.
So me and my brother Roach Killer, we were flying to Pakistan, and I really wanted to have like a full-on holiday this time, not take my laptop and work and everything. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna edit the whole thing in one night. Wow. And I did, and man, I love that video.
Yeah, it's a good video.
So myself, but I think that track did a lot for me, and I think it just came naturally without going too much into it. That track came out because. So I actually have another song that's coming out next with Farugo Audio, and that was supposed to be my final release last year.
Okay.
But certain situations happened towards the end of last year, and a lot of stuff was on my mind. And like I said, I like to release whatever I'm feeling in the moment. So I made this track in the sense of to get something from my chest out. There were certain situations where I felt like a lot of people were trying to talk down on me. A lot of people were trying to put me in a place where it was like they were kind of focusing on what I was doing, and trying to tell me that, again, going back to like trying to tell me what I can, who I am and who I can't be, kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So there were certain things I wanted to kind of put on the table, and if you really deep those lyrics, there's a lot of stuff in there, and there's no cap, there's no nothing. I even say in that track, there's a part in that track which is my favorite part, which is I don't call myself a trapper, but I still make my P's. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't need to initially when you hear that song, you might think it's just another one of those RS3 kind of tunes, and you know what I'm saying? It's one of those, but it's really not, man. It's a lot more than that. And even the sample part, all of that, I wrote all of that, do you know what I'm saying? So people think sampling and all of that is one thing. But what we did was obviously Jogi, the original song Jogi, that is like an all-time favorite.
Yeah, of course.
The Runders even remade it. Punjabi MC remade it. People think that's the original, but even that was a remix. So for me, I wanted to do that, but I wanted to do it in my own style. So I rewrote the lyrics and we just changed the identity of that song. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, such a good song.
That's why it was called Dark Blue in the first place. So man, I think that track did a lot for me, and it just came out so organically.
Yeah.
A lot of people, my whole team, they'll be watching this and they'll agree with this. Everyone told me not to release it at that time.
Really?
There's not a single person other than my brothers maybe that told me like, yo, drop this right now. Because it was Christmas week, I was in PK and the track was mixed and mastered and everything. And I came back and it was already like 14th, 15th December now. And nobody releases songs after that. It's just like a natural, it's like a traditional rule.
Okay,
you don't really release at the end of December because it's Christmas, New Year's.
Okay.
Spotify, I think the charts, they don't really operate the same way they normally would. So everyone was kind of like, yo, don't release this right now, release it on New Year's. I was like, cool, like, it's calm, but I'm the kind of guy where even though I believe in timing, like I've got songs from 2 years ago that I've been patient with and I'm gonna drop at the right time, but when it was something that I was feeling in the moment, I was like, I need to express this, and I don't want to express it in 2026 because it's a 2025
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that.
and there's a reason I'm saying 25 play whip. I'm not saying 26
Oh,
play
yeah,
whip. Do you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So I need to drop it right now, and I don't want to wait till 2026. So without telling anybody, I was sat at my cousin's house in Germany, and I said to my cousin, I goes, you know what, bro? I'm gonna drop a TikTok tonight. It was Tuesday the 16th. I go, I'm gonna drop a TikTok tonight. If it does anything, like if it gets some sort of traction, we'll release the song this week. Otherwise, I'll just say this is coming
wow.
soon next year.
So
or
did you
whatever.
just release like a snippet of the
Snippet. It
song?
was
Oh
a
wow,
snippet
okay.
where I was sat in a car. So basic. It's so basic. I'm just sat in a G-Wagon and I'm just rapping to the camera. And I just posted it. And I thought, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I didn't put a release date on there, nothing like that. Again, I didn't think about, is it gonna go viral? Is it gonna? I just wanted to just drop it. And I didn't ask anyone's permission. I just thought, yo, let me just drop it. Because at the end of the day, that's what music's all about. You want to
Yeah.
express what's on your mind, in your heart. So I just dropped it, and I'm sat at my cousin's house. We must have dropped it 6, 7 p.m. and we're both kind of like, I like to leave my phone there, but he's
Okay,
like
yeah,
refreshing
yeah.
every 2 seconds. He said, bro, it's on 6K,
Wow.
it's on 12K, it's on 15. I think by the time I left his house by like midnight, it's been like 5, 6 hours. And it was like 40, 50K. And
Wow.
okay, you know what? I think this is
That's
about to
it,
go viral
yeah.
now. So the next morning I wake up to a lot of calls and everyone's like, brother, what the fuck you doing, bro? Like we told you not to
yeah,
drop it.
your team.
You know what I'm saying?
your-
Everyone's like, bro. Like, and my friend, he calls it a shotgun release. I think that's what they call it in the industry. He's like, bro, this song is too good for you to waste it as a shotgun release. I'm telling you, you're gonna regret it. I go, bro, like, if we regret it, then we have all these other projects coming out
Yeah.
anyway, bro. Let's just do it, you know.
But I feel like Daco, because you released it at the time that you did, has then obviously when you went into 2026 probably
It was
opened
perfect,
a lot
yeah.
more doors.
And another thing I would say is, so on day 2, so on the Tuesday we dropped that. On the Wednesday I dropped the second snippet where there's 3 of me sat on a table. That did double of the first one, and that just took off completely. So then day 3,
I actually think when I saw Daco for the first time on TikTok, it was that one.
it was that one. Yeah, exactly. So that's a perfect example right
Yeah.
there of how that worked. And then day 3, the song released, and you know it's become my biggest hit in I think 2 or 3 years since Animals.
yeah.
Numbers wise, streams wise, my biggest song, and my first song back in the charts after 2 years. So that was a big deal for me. And I also think the same friend who was talking about the shotgun release, we sat down and he even said, you know what? Because nobody can predict anything. Not even Rick Ross or Universal Music label execs know everything. Because there's no predictability of music. Obviously, the experts, they will know a lot more than someone like me, or they know a lot more knowledge in the sense of they can guide you, but nobody can predict the future. So
I mean, you've given us classic examples of where you've had good feelings about songs and you've released them and they've not performed as well.
Exactly. So for all we know, and this is what my friend said, he said, for all we know, Darko, if it came out 2 weeks after that, it might not have got the same traction, because if you think about it, it came out December the 18th. There was no school going on. People were coming off of work. Everyone was at home. And nobody takes that risk usually because of the Christmas and the charts and whatnot. But for all we know, because everyone was active, they were on their phones, the track took off. Maybe it wouldn't have got that same traction if it came out mid-January, you know what I'm saying? When everyone's at school and work and that kind of stuff. So there's no regrets there, and I'm glad I followed my heart. And the song's done well, so it's a perfect example of why you should just follow your heart and not always your mind. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's my favourite song. So what's next for you then? Like, I know you've got a couple of projects coming up. You've got a show with Sunny Leone in Germany.
Yeah. So I'm performing with Sunny Leone in Germany in 2 weeks. That's going to be probably my biggest show till now. It's in a big concert hall in a city called Oberhausen. So if you're from Germany, and if you see this afterwards,
or if you're not from Germany,
then I wish you'd come down. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll do something in the UK with Sunny Leone at some point. But what's next for me this year, inshallah, is I'm working on an EP, like I said, for the last 2 years. And people keep asking me, like, when's an album coming or tape coming? So this is it. I can't predict when I'm going to do something like that again, because obviously tomorrow's never promised. But the EP is very close to my heart. It's going to come out hopefully towards the end of 2026. There's some huge features on there, which I think is probably too early right now to announce. But when we start developing some stuff, releasing singles, you guys will hear more about that. But got a big lineup of producers on there as well. My brother Roach Killer's on there, Farouk got Oda's on there, some new names as well. And it's just gonna be six super heavy, emotionally connected tracks, which are really gonna pull your heartstrings. At the same time, they're gonna be then like road nighttime bangers as well for you. Do you know what I'm saying? So late night drive, that kind of stuff, that kind of sound. So you're gonna hear an Arma that you haven't heard before this year, because I think all the years that I was doing music and all the crazy things we've talked about today, I think they've all developed me as a person and as an artist. And I've grown into somebody that wasn't 5 years ago when I made Kanlaik or Arja Mahia. And, now the sound is different and the man behind the sound is different. So I think you're going to hear that this year in the EP. And I'm just looking forward to finally get it out and, let you all hear it. So
yeah, I was going to ask you actually, do you feel like the next phase sounds different?
Completely different. And I think that's why learning and embracing the fact that I'm a lot more than just a UK based artist, like I'm appealing to a wider sound. I think that was very important, and it takes me out of a bubble which I was forcing myself to be in, which was like I'm just making music for the UK. But when you hear the upcoming songs, I think that mindset has changed and it's gone a lot more global,
Yeah, and I've heard your upcoming track with Fruit Got Audio, which will probably...
So what do you think?
I love it. Like, I think it's so different. I actually love it. So do you think this chapter that you're going into then feels more intentional?
I'd like to say so, yeah.
Because you've taken everything, obviously your learnings, your mistakes from the past, and you know what works for you now, and you're taking all of that into this next chapter, which is actually really exciting. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Again, nobody knows everything, and I might be a perfectionist, but it doesn't make me perfect or anything that I create perfect. So I can't say that I know exactly what I'm doing, but exactly how you put it, I think all the things I've learned, all my learnings, the difficult times, the hits and the flops of the tracks I didn't do as well, they've all sort of contributed to building where I am right now and what is coming out. So definitely I think that there's no going back from where it's gonna head right now, and inshallah I think it's all gonna make sense.
So no career switches in the next couple of years.
I mean,
you're not gonna ring me up and be like, I've decided to study medicine now.
No. Well, unfortunately, I don't think you want me to be your doctor, or you want me to be on the other side of that operating table. It's gonna be it's gonna be a bit of a that's a bigger experiment than I'm interested in doing. But career change wise, I think my only plan at the moment where it comes to that career wise is obviously I have to feed Arma as a filmmaker at the same time. So I think that the only career switch that you might see from me is I'm going to keep switching between the filmmaking side of things. I filmed the video for the Pakistani legend Abrar Haq as well recently in Pakistan. He's got a song coming out of Roach Killer and Dr. Zeus. So that's coming out very soon. Roach recently announced it on BBC, so I think we're in a safe place now to announce that too. So I shot the video for that, edited it just a few days ago, and I think there's more and more opportunities coming. There's a lot of big videos I'm doing for a lot of artists worldwide, and I think hopefully if the stuff that I'm developing on the filmmaking side of things, like my series and that kind of stuff, they start developing soon, then I'm gonna probably end up sort of pursuing that a little bit more and giving more breathing room to Arma the musician. But I think they both have to have their time, Okay. You need to focus a bit more on one over the other at some points. And I learned that if you wanna excel at anything, you have to put your 100% in. So if I was just trying to be a filmmaker, then I'd be putting my 100% in that. The same way for the last year or so, I'm putting my 100% into Arma as a musician. Yeah. Because I know that that's what my focus is right now. I want to excel as a musician, as an artist. So my 100% is on that right now, while the filmmaker Arma has been on the back burner for a little bit. Yeah. But I think that needs to switch soon as well. So,
I mean, you can do both, right?
I do both as it is, yeah. But there's the right time for that switch. And I think that will come naturally.
And like you said, you're selective about the projects that you take on, so
and that's important.
that'll just
You can't overload both things.
Yeah, because I can imagine obviously music making takes up a lot of time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like there's probably nights like you touched on where a song comes to you, but
Yeah.
then like other ones that have probably been in development.
Yeah. There's been times where it's been weeks, and I'm stuck
Yeah.
on a track and nothing's coming. And
Yeah. What do you do when you have like a mental block and you have like a
writer's block is a serious thing, yo.
Yeah.
Like, I had to so Darkpool, actually, because we spoke about Darkpool. I was in Germany and I wrote that, and I think it was like August, September last year, and I had the beat. Me and CJ made the beat in the UK, and then I took it to Germany with me, and nothing was coming to me. Like, I was sat there for days and nothing was coming. Like, there was some stuff coming which was so basic and mid, and I just felt like this is all my old stuff all over again. Like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
So I took a break from it, and one night I think something had happened, and I was kind of I was fueled by a certain situation. So what I did was I went to get petrol. I went to a petrol station, and while I'm inside, I'm paying for the petrol. Bought myself a coffee as well, and I just saw that there's like I like the lighting of this seating area in that garage. There's a BP garage, but like the German version of it. So I just asked the guy, yo, can I just sit here for a minute? And he goes, go sit here all night if you want. Doesn't mean nothing to me. I was like, cool.
Were you like, can I film in here, bro?
And I grabbed my headphones from the car and I sat down in there, and in that garage, in that petrol station, I wrote the entire
Wow.
from the whole hook. Everything was written there in about an hour and a half.
Wow, that's crazy.
Sometimes things like that just happen naturally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy. So one thing we ask all our guests on the podcast is to tell us something that's on the record that you wish was off the record.
So, you know, I like that you have that USP of your, the podcast, and it's something that really gets stuck in your head as well. The fact that you've asked this question, and it's given me the opportunity to reflect on myself and kind of deep that, you know what, have I done anything that's something that I could wish I could take back or, keep off the record. But I don't think there is anything like that, because I think if I did do that, then would I really be here right now? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I took anything off the record from my past or my career so far, then I'd be taking away a piece of the journey that kind of made me who I am right now.
Good
And
answer.
I think it probably wouldn't make me, the sort of artist that I even want to be. And it reminds me of a quote from Tupac, who says that a lot of people say he's a role model, but he doesn't want to be a role model because a role is a role that needs to be acted, and he never wants to be something that, he'd rather be a real model, because if you're a role model, you're going to do something, that someone might look down on and think, oh, you're not cool for doing that, And if I took something back now, people would be like, yo, but that's still you did that decision, so what, you're taking it back now. Because sometimes it's not about taking things back, but it's more about learning from what you did.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be somebody that's taken back or pretending I didn't do something. I'd rather be someone that did it, learned from it, and now going forward, I'll make sure that, like I said, it's giving me the chance to reflect that I don't want to do something that I could then wish was off the record.
Yeah.
So I think I'm glad you asked me that, because it gives me the time to really deep that, you know what, all the decisions that I made formed this. So if I took it off the record, then I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, it's part of your journey, isn't it?
It's part of the off the record podcast.
Is there anything that you want to leave on the record for our listeners?
That I can do, yeah. I would like to say that a lot of people, sleep on the fact that I can, obviously, I direct my own videos. I create visuals as well as just music, and I think that naturally not everyone's gonna know that, because not everyone goes and checks the credits after that video, or not everyone will go and see who did what. So I think if anybody's watching this right now, I'd like that to be on my record, where a lot of people know that, every video this guy's done for himself, he's also made sure he's directed it, edited it, mostly color graded it, produced it, conceptualized everything, do you know what I'm saying? So I like to look at everything from a wider perspective, from a wider project. And I think that's something that makes what I create stand out that little bit more.
Yeah.
So if anything stays on the record after I'm gone, then I think that's ideally something that I would like people to remember me by.
Good. Well, thank you so much for being with us on Off the Record. I really loved chatting to you, and I hope you have a nice rest of your stay in Scotland, and maybe we'll see you again on Off the Record.
I appreciate you having me, and I wish you all the best as well. It's about time someone's doing a podcast like this or trying to create a movement like this for, you know, Asians in the UK to share their voice.
Yeah,
and, you know, speak
definitely.
about things.
That's what we're all
There's
about.
not many people doing it. There's a few, but not enough. And I think, you know, I'm glad that someone like yourself is doing it. I wish
Thank
you all
you.
the best as well. And I'd love to be back here again someday.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe in a couple of years' time, you'll be sitting in this chair again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Woo!